So welcome back, everyone. I'm excited about now talking about what we're going to talk about because I don't understand any of it. And I'm serious because the reason why is because, well, I have Scott Fischer. He's the owner of Options for Senior Living, and I also have Jennifer Kramer, who's the owner of Legal Stuff. And you were talking and going away at the break, and I'm like, you know what? You guys explain it.
Okay. All right. Well, they're like the top two healthcare issues facing aging Arizonans. One is falls. It's by far and away the biggest issue. It's causing more trauma, more hospitalizations. But the second one is the increase in incidence of various forms of dementia, Alzheimer's being the first one. However, most people have in their mind that if someone is demented, that they're significantly impaired, they're slumped over in a chair, they don't communicate, they don't recognize their loved ones anymore. They're thinking about the very advanced forms. What I'm concerned about is that folks that are in the earliest stages, we would call that mild cognitive impairment, or that have got some early signs of things that are starting to change, they're super vulnerable to crimes and exploitation and violations because they have an impairment of their judgment and insight and problem solving, and they don't get it when they're being had. And we were talking about what how that's plays out with some of these crimes and fraud.
Because they're so adamant about staying independent and making their own decisions.
Well, and that's part of there's a denial and there's a blind spot that comes with all of that, and it's real. I mean, my mom had it. I mean, every family I know that's going down that road, the person affected is like, sure, everything is just fine, and it ain't fine.
No. And it's hard to determine it. And that's why we were talking about that deed fraud.
Well, that's it. And that's where people get really vulnerable to that kind of a crime. And you're seeing a spike in these crimes committed against seniors, like the deed fraud, where their homes are being, explain it, but they're basically their homes are being stolen off.
Well, and it's generally the seniors that are the only ones with the homes that are paid off. So everybody, if you have a mortgage, you're safe. But it's the ones that are paid off, and they've I think we talked about last time how they passed one of the laws where now even if your deed is transferred by a fraudulent deed, if that fraudster is able to pay the property taxes for only 5 years, you have no repercussions. You cannot get your house back. So you can't fight it. And seniors aren't paying attention. They're so used to getting the bill for the taxes, the property taxes, they probably don't realize when they don't get that bill, because as soon as that fraudulent deed is recorded, all the property tax bills goes to the new owner. So they never even realize it unless they're checking. That's the biggest thing that I worry about nowadays. And there they go,
their home is gone.
Right.
The home's gone.
5 years and you have no way of getting it back.
Wow.
And they can come in and kick you out day after.
Right.
That's so scary. I can't believe that even that they know that it's fraudulent what they're doing. It's a money thing.
So on my website we've got actually a link to the Maricopa County Recorder's Office that you can sign up. It's so easy, and they will notify you anytime any document's been recorded with your name on it, and it's within 48 hours. They're really quick about it. It's really nice. And it's easy.
Do it.
Go up on
If you're listening to it.
It's legalstuffaz.com.
Yeah, I'll be doing that for us. I mean,
It could happen to anybody.
Well, and we're all getting bombed with so many text messages and so many scam phone and spam phone calls. We all went to cell phones 10 years ago because our house phones were getting crushed under the spam.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now we're getting crushed under spam. The seniors are hearing those things. AI is recording their voices and creating all kinds of scandalous situations for people. So we just say, please. Next month is Valentine's Day, right? And we all talk about love. We've got an article coming out in a local publication called Stroll Magazine here in the Biltmore area. And the message is, if you love let me say it positively, loving your parents includes having those hard conversations and making sure their documents are all in order, and that you're doing the protective things with the county assessor's office and things like that, because it is not loving to keep your mouth shut. It is not loving. It is, you think you're being loving and respectful, but I'm telling you, we have to speak up as a generation of adult children and love our parents enough, because they loved us enough when we were high schoolers to not let us do everything that we wanted to do.
Right.
And so we have to speak even when it's hard. And now we got to learn how to have the hard conversation, but we got to be willing to have them.
But I have to say this too, because, I've experienced my parents, but also my ex-husband's mom just recently passed. I'm gonna talk to the senior out there too, because it's sometimes hard for the children, because, we were talking about this earlier, how the people who are in their 90s, some of them are so proud, and they are, you gonna tell me what to do? We're not looking at that, whatever. So I wanna talk to the senior to try and listen. Maybe it's you right there that's listening to us right now. Don't let them know, let them help, let them, it's your love to them as well.
Amen to that. Yeah.
Because when you make it hard on it, and I know, my father, every time we ever said anything about money, oh, you want my money, don't you, So you wouldn't talk about it, right? But you need to, it's important conversations.
Well, one of the things we were doing in our training yesterday with this assessment tool is looking at the aspect or the component of self-reliance, and none of us can do what we did when we were in high school. And at 80, nobody's doing what they were doing at 60. They physically can't. You're lying to yourself if you think you can.
Right.
So our world comes into play because we meet them at the intersection of when they can't stay home safely, or when they need somebody to pay their bills or manage their life for them, or their affairs, or their kids are out of state. But it is inevitable. The curve is inevitable. Now, if we can still keep their risks under control and managed, then you can stay home safely. Statistically, we could do that and build a team around you to help you stay safe.
So what happened right there is
Yeah.
where you have to be aware.
You do have to be aware.
Awareness is huge.
Yeah.
I remember my ex-mother-in-law came in with a sweater, and like me, it was kind of hot outside, but I mean, she had the sweater all the way down. Not normal for her to do that, and it was hot out. Why were you wearing that sweater with that big long sleeve on there? I mean, you have to be aware, you have to look and care enough to say, hey, what's going on? Let me check you out.
Well, when they talk about a circle of life, it really is a circle. I don't know if you assess your clients, but I literally look at that circle. And as they get older, after those 80s, you literally start regressing to their teenage, stubborn age. You go down to the elementary and you go down to the preschool, and you can really set someone.
Yeah.
And kids need to be aware of that time frame. If your parents are in those teenage years, be aware of it and be sympathetic to that. And that's how you communicate with them.
Right. Well, as soon as you said that, I'm like, my mom, at the end of my mom's life, her ability to communicate directly was diminished. But that's the same way it is with an 8-year-old or a 12-year-old. They talk in triangles, they say this and they mean that. I mean, it's very convoluted. And so as you are loving someone who is aging, or you're aging and you're hearing me, understand we're changing. And it's not, it's not,
okay.
It's the reality. We have acceptance, I get that fear of the future becomes a problem, and fear of the unknown and all that, but love can cover a lot of that if we will invite our family and our close people in with us.
And how we communicate with them.
Yeah.
We've got our lines open here for everyone to get entered into win. It's a trust package, and it comes with everything that you need. It's $1,495 value, free to you or anyone that you know. Jennifer also gives 30% off always, even if you don't win. Also, we've got our lines open here for 3 families to win at no charge an assessment. This is with a new tool that has just been brought to Arizona, that you can have actual numbers showing where are you at. All of this is giving yourself and your loved ones love. So we've got our lines open here, and you can call in throughout the rest of the show, and our number here is 602-277-5369. So we're going to go to a break, okay? And this it's amazing. We could have a show on all of this, right? Every day, where people just need to, what you said before, Scott, was call before the crisis, because most of the time that's when they call, oh my God, what do I do, right? And you can help that.
I'll do what I can.
So you can call in here, get entered in to win. Check them out. We've got options for seniorliving.com, or go to legalstuffaz.com, or just call in here, get entered in to win. You're going to love it that you did at 602-277-5369.
What are their first steps? I always try to encourage anyone that's home to call their local fire department to get the box on.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm thinking that's maybe something that
And Scottsdale has, in their Home Safe Home program, that's part of it. And most fire departments now have what they call a community risk reduction program, and putting the box on the outside of your door so to hatchet you through is part of most cities. So I think my mother-in-law just called Goodyear and had hers put on and all that. And, I got a lockbox from my mother.
Do they call the fire department?
She called the fire department, yeah. I got it because I had my mom on one of the button.
Yep, and that was my next thing. Do the lockbox, get a darn button.
Yeah.
And wear the darn button.
Wear the darn button.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and if your Apple Watch is your button and all that, then wear the Apple Watch.
Yeah.
You know, because Mom had a gravity element to hers, which was nice, and she was wearing it, thankfully, during COVID. When she dropped, the gravity thing kicked in, it pinged on the GPS, and they called her, rather than her having to lay on the ground moaning, trying to call them, or alert them, or whatever.
Yeah.
So it called her and said, Kathy, are you okay? This thing just pinged. And she said, send the fire department, I'm on the ground. Yeah.
That's cool.
So there was a cool little element that Mom's device had.
I know one of my mother-in-law's friends has one, and I think that when she's very alert, she's very quick, you know. Most of the people that have to wear them are not, you know, right? They're just don't, you know, and you can get it all the fang-dangos you want, they don't understand it, you know.
That's true.
So the main
That's why
thing-
getting it early, so it's a habit, and it's just something you just do.
I personally think that the ones that you wear around the neck is the best. But like you said, they
Life
gotta
alert,
wear-
what do they call,
Yeah.
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 Life Alert, I use the, oh man, they were working on an AI solution too for a while. It was just called buttons for the longest time. It was called,
And I'll come to you when we're talking.
yeah, I'm sure it will. Or at 3 in the morning. The merry-go-round, I go around in the head, I go, bing, there it was. What was the name of that company we used? Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I also think that there's what do I want to say?
I know, but even Google and Alexa, they've all got it. As long as they're able to speak,
Yeah,
they can,
call your fire
yeah,
department.
call 911 or whatever, but if they're not, they pass out.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, there was one individual that laid for 3 days before anyone.
Well, let's talk about 4 or 5 things then that might be, all right, so how do we help the family? What 5 things can we tell them how to make their home more safe for their loved one? And talk about the devices, we'll talk about
Oh,
Yeah.
there you
some
go.
other things.
I like it.
So welcome back, everyone. So we're talking about our loved ones, or people, our parents, people that, you know, they're getting older, and it's not getting any easier. But there's things that you can do to keep them safe, and this is important, and you wanted to share some of those things.
Yeah, I think we have to look at the person, we have to look at the environment, we have to look at their medical conditions, right? And the factors that we can control, right? And that's how we reduce risk. I can't change my genetics, but I can take my medicines if my blood pressure are high and things like that. So we were talking about, are those devices, the fall devices, the call alert, are those helpful? And I'd say absolutely. And I think there's more expressions of just the original style when you wore a pendant.
Right.
Jennifer was saying that I think Alexa and everybody else you could call in, if you connect that thing to 911 or
If it's
first
working.
responders. If it's
Right.
working. If your internet's working and all that.
Did you pay your bills?
You know, mom had a device, thankfully, during COVID that and she was wearing it, thankfully, and she was reaching on the bottom shelf of her refrigerator to get a bottle of water instead of having them up easily to reach. And she fell and broke her wrist, and she was on the ground, and because she changed positions suddenly, it pinged and called her rather than waiting for her to call it, then to send
Right.
first responders. And so I always felt like there was another level of safety security with mom when she wasn't living at my house that I would find out when she didn't charge the unit, and the fire department showed up at her house a few times unexpectedly and things like that too. But we had her covered in that regard, and I think that's a helpful.
I don't know if I can say, I gotta tell a story real quickly. My ex-mother-in-law had fallen outside of her home, and she had only rock out in the front. And she was getting her mail, and she couldn't grab anything. There was nothing there that she could grab to help her to get her up, to give her that support to do that. She dragged herself. Can you think of that, what that looks like, just figuring it was hot in the desert, and dragging herself to, because there's no one, of course, when she fell, she lives in a cul-de-sac, nobody was around, right? She wasn't wearing, and the reason why I brought this up really quickly is because she wasn't wearing that pendant for whatever godforsaken
Or the
reason.
watch, right.
Or the watch, or what have you. She's not wearing it, and guess what? That's when everything started to happen with she got embarrassed about it, she didn't want to tell anyone, she ended up in the hospital, she was septic, it goes on and on and on. But wearing it, wearing it.
You gotta have it on, yeah, it's no good if
I
you're
mean,
sitting in the kitchen.
if you have it, it's great, but you gotta wear it, you gotta use it,
Yeah.
right?
That's the best Christmas and birthday gift a
Yeah.
kid can give his parents.
Yeah.
You bet. And the city, and you mentioned earlier too, Jennifer, that the city will come out and do lock boxes for families and things like that. I would guess that we try not to offend our parents, but if we don't reconcile their medications, or if a healthcare professional isn't reconciling, and what I mean by that is that oftentimes individuals see 2 or 3 or 4 practitioners, or they've changed doses, and so now they've got the same medicine in this dose and this dose. Well, seniors just collect all that; they don't get rid of it. So now you go into the house and you're like, how do you know what you take, when you take it? You fill up the pill box. The pill box isn't filled up right. I mean, we have to do a safety thing is managing their medicines.
Do you help in that, Jennifer, with people?
No, I don't manage their meds, but I make sure there's somebody there.
Or we get somebody that does that, and there are professionals that will do that. Well, for sure. And so for years I did my mom's because I didn't trust her that
she was actually taking them or taking more than one day.
Yep. And we have an epidemic of seniors being medicated and over-medicated. They are, many of them are on antidepressants, anti-anxiety medications. Xanax and Ativan are the big culprits. Klonopin.
Because they're side effects of their other medications.
Well, then it complicates all of that.
Yes.
But you start taking those medicines, and they're chemically very consistent, like whiskey, right? So if you take a Valium or a Xanax, it's like taking 2 shots of whiskey. That's the same effect on our nervous system. So, mom's home taking 4 or 5 Xanax a day, she's going to be
She's
fall risk. Well, she's a fall risk. She breaks a hip.
Yep.
And that's...
And some of the other ones make them agitated, bipolar,
Correct.
which is how they alienate their kids. So the kids just need to be more open and realize that this isn't the way they were before. So communicating softer with them and being more understanding to know that they're going through these changes makes a big difference.
I like the way you put that, communicating softer with them.
Yeah.
It's just like a child, because when you wouldn't talk to your 5-year-old the same way you would talk to a teenager or an adult.
That's right.
And
That's
they just need to put themselves in that frame of mind, and things will go so much smoother.
What are your final words, Jennifer?
We were talking about paying bills and forgetting bills, and so everybody does it automated. All the trusts now should include digital assets provisions, because all of these companies will not talk to you. Instagram, Facebook, none of those will talk to you when something happens. So make sure you document your digital assets.
And please make sure that you do. Some of these things that you're listening to is so important. Having a consultation with them, you know, it doesn't hurt to do that. You do free consultations all the time. And right now, we've got our lines open here still for everyone to call in, the 3 families that are gonna win at no charge. This assessment with the actual documented numbers that you can get to know exactly where you are. That's new here in Arizona right now, so you'd be lucky to get that. And also the trust package, oh my God. I mean, everybody needs to have that, and honestly, you'll be so happy that you did. And it comes with everything. It is a $1,495 value, free to you or anyone that you know. And so we've got our lines open here, and our number here is 602-277-5369. Scott, what are your final words?
Okay, my message is we want to help our aging population age in place safely. This tool gives us the opportunity to come to your house and help you with that. If your churches or faith communities would engage with us, we would love to talk to you about how to add that ministry to your church.
And nice. You also, Jennifer, what are your final words? Oh, I thought, was that
get everything in place. Don't leave it till the last minute.
You know what, I'm seeing I have more than 2 minutes, so, okay.
Oh, we're still
Well,
rolling.
let's talk about the 5 wishes real quick.
Okay.
Can we do that?
Yeah, you go ahead.
You want to talk about the 5 wishes?
Yes, do it real quick.
Well, 5 wishes is just your last directives. That's all your feeding tubes. It's what you want, and we want to honor your wishes. But if we don't know them, we can't honor them. So document them.
I gotta tell you something. If you haven't seen what the 5 wishes are, they're very cool. You gave me one, and I think it's awesome. Please, everyone, listen up. We're doing this for peace of mind. You talk about love, right? Call before the crisis. Get something done, and all of your papers in place and all signed, and have them notarized, which you also notarize. You do that as well.
I'm a mobile notary, right?
So, and she's mobile. She comes to you. Go ahead.
If we have a minute, I ask you, do you have your clients upload their wishes to the cloud, to the
health ministry,
to the healthcare registry?
Yes.
You do?
I love that.
Yes. Super important. The healthcare registry was formed a few years ago because previously Arizona had everybody send their documents to the Secretary of State's office. It was an antiquated system. It was a vault of 30,000 or 50,000 documents that had never been updated. It's been replaced now with this healthcare registry that even from the Attorney General's office, they guide you how to set up an account and upload your documents. What's the value? Well, when you go to the hospital, there they are. Eventually the fire departments, if they come to your residence and you're laying on the ground and had a heart attack, there's your documents. You're in the registry. They can be found. My documents are no good to me if they're on a thumb drive in my desk. Who knows who's in charge or how to get a hold of my wife? Anything.
Who's going to find it?
And so the healthcare registry was a wonderful expansion from what systems we used to have, so that now healthcare providers.
They put a card. They send you a card to put in your wallet,
and
that's how they know that it's uploaded in the registry.
And that's uploaded, and they can check you out and find you. So, I just wanted to ask you real quick, because I've asked more attorneys over the last few years that do estate planning and such.
Make sure that you
pointing their clients in that direction.
Make sure that you get these documents. They're so important. Not only that, please, if they're done, you have had it done, check it out, have it looked at, because you never know. Things change all of the time. So first of all, I want you to go to, for Jennifer's website, which is legalstuffaz.com. You can also call her at 602-457-2333, or call Scott at 602-845-1320. Check him out. It's optionsforseniorliving.com.